sport of mixed martial arts has changed drastically over the past decade. It began with one style of fighting and now consists of many styles such as boxing, kickboxing, judo, wrestling and more. It went from untelevised events in small dojos to a stadium filled with over 100,000 fans ready to watch these athletes put their bodies on the line. The main access to watch these events is through the UFC, also known as the Ultimate Fighting Championship. Under President Dana White, they have and will continue to produce pay-per-view events with the main goal in mind to put the sport of mixed martial arts on a mainstream level to compete with other sporting events. Males have dominated the sport, but in recent years there's been a drastic increase of females getting into the sport. An athlete such as Ronda Rousey has become a major superstar and an inspiration to many with her style of fighting. Other athletes such as Miesha Tate, Kat Zingano, and the current champion Holly Holm join her in this change.
We wanted to find out what people thought about women's MMA, so we went to one of the best MMA gyms in London, Fight Zone, where we had the opportunity to speak to head coach James Roach and also one of their top female athletes. We also had the opportunity to speak to a judo student right here in the university.
So no, I suppose it's a fairly interesting time at the minute. Like women's fighting is probably about as popular as it's ever been at the minute. You know, there's always women fairly heavily featured on UFC main cards. It's definitely on its way up. You know, it's getting better and better all the time, and there's more and more women, you know, competing. Still, like you still get a lot of women who are fighting professionally, and appearing on big events that are still relatively inexperienced. But I suppose over time that will change, and I don't know. I suppose we're at a pivotal point at the moment. I suppose where it will continue the way it's going, and women's sport will get better and better and better until it's at the same level as men's. And then it will be fully integrated, it'll all be part of the same thing.
A development that has been quite recent is the involvement of women in it, because I know Dana White himself, before the women came, he said that women would never be in it, as far as I can remember. I remember quoting him saying that.
When are we going to see women in the UFC, man?
Never.
Never? Never? Why?
They've come into it and thrived.
It's pretty clear that there was an audience for this kind of crazy sport where you can just fight people and you don't have to have any rules and stuff. So it's really every man for himself kind of thing. It's pretty exciting. Now there's women in the cage, which is pretty exciting. I heard Dana White said in 2013 that women were never going to fight in the UFC, and I guess he's eaten his words pretty big.
To be quite honest, women fighting in the ring, I generally don't have a problem with it in the general sense. But from an Islamic sense, I don't agree. I don't agree with it in terms of obviously the aura and that means showing off their body parts with the tight clothes and from that sense. But in the practical sense, then I believe it's definitely beneficial that as many women as possible should take part to basically learn skills to defend themselves.
It definitely isn't for everyone watching I'm not as big a fan of watching women beating on each other as I'm on men, it's tricky,
Ronda Rousey, how can you not talk about Ronda Rousey? You're talking about women's MMA. It's all over, the mainstream, and Ronda's doing all these big movies and stuff, and I don't know, I really like her.
The impact that she's had has been nothing short of amazing, to be quite honest. For a long while, ever since she broke onto the scene, and she's just been running through opponents Yeah, she's just been basically running through opponents, and she does have a bit of that pre-fight banter. So she gets people interested even before the fight. Even though she's an exciting fighter herself, she makes the before the fight exciting as well. So make people look forward to it.
I noticed that like in the last 2 or 3 years maybe, we've been seeing like, you know, there's some girls that will try it. They don't always stay, but there's, you know, some of them they try it and they're really hooked. And like, you know, I've been able to see them like in their beginner classes, and now they're getting like, you know, winning comps and competing and like training all the time and like getting belts and stuff. So it's really cool to see like more and more girls that are like, you know, trying it and sticking around and stuff. So I definitely noticed. And in the last few years now, there's like, you know, at least 2 or 3 or 4 girls that will show up to every class. So it's been awesome.
We have more women doing jiu-jitsu now than before, and we have more women doing Muay Thai than we did before.
Yeah, just enjoy what you're doing. Just really enjoy it.
I think you should just try it. Like when I did it, I didn't know what it was at all. My friend, I almost think he told me to sign up as a joke. And I did it, and the first class it was like, you know, so great. You know, you just get to like kind of let out all the aggression you have, and if you have a bad day, you can, you know, go, you know, roll around and try to beat up people. So I think like a lot of girls, they think like it's not for them, but it's like if you try it once, you know, you might really like it, and then, you know, next thing you know, you found something that, you know, you're really passionate about. So, you know, who knows, you know, just, I think just go down to the gym and sign up for a class.
In my training group, there were about 80% boys and 20% women. But the special thing about my sport, especially about judo, is that you are always having contact, like physical contact. The closer you are, the better you can control the partner. So I would always I would throw guys to the bottom, they would throw me, they would lay on me in the bottom, we would fight in the bottom. Like, we've just, it feels like a group of siblings. You're so close and you just do that sport together, and because you do those dangerous things, because we throw each other, you struggle each other, we really struggle each other, you're kind of all friends, and so I don't really care if I'm fighting with a boy or a girl if I'm practicing with them. But that's really cool about the sport.
I started jiu-jitsu